So next topic is Futaba servos. So
Futaba servos
and radios. So we're gonna.
Now these are a new line to us here
Definitely.
at Hearns, aren't they? I don't know if we've had these before.
We talked about the 7PX last week. In fact,
did.
I officially switched from my Sunwell to the 7PX. So we are officially all Futaba. You've been Futaba for a long time. You've been trying to convince me for a good part of the last 6 months, and eventually it happened.
So got himself a beautiful 7PXR radio set.
So we got a Futaba radio here, which has been very good. We've done quite a few videos on these, but we receive also the servo to go with this radio. So the HPS CB700 and the CT700. Okay, so these are the top of the range of the Futaba servo for buggy and touring car.
Buggy and touring car, that's right. And you were talking about like a buggy servo with the capabilities of like 50 kilos.
50 kg.
Yeah, I think it's rated at 49 kgs of torque, which is
crazy.
Crazy. At 0.075 second transition rate.
We're going to talk about speed and adjustment in a minute, but one of the main benefits of these servos is the power consumption, specifically in buggy. When you have a long final, which can be up to 60 minutes, you need to be able to have enough battery to complete the final. So these are using about 50% from what I read of less power compared to a traditional servo, even an older Futaba. And so if you have a long funnel, this servo will be very much beneficial because it's going to go a lot longer and still will have 50 kg of torque.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is crazy.
And the beauty about these servos and the SR rated servos is that they're completely tunable with and you can really utilize all aspects of your new digital radio.
Right.
So whereas for electric motors we might use brushless motors with program boxes, for this one too is a brushless motor, but the program box is actually the transmitter. So you can program the servo to do different things or do things a little bit differently.
Definitely.
In its speed, power, torque sort of adjustments through the radio. So, and that's very unique to Futaba, and it really is a bit of a game changer for those who are really interested in getting the absolute performance out of their servos and radio gears.
In the past we used to tune the servo pretty much through the radio by changing exponentials and to try to slow them down or speed them up by changing curve of the response effectively. But now you can actually change what the servo does.
Yeah. So it's effectively like a computer-controlled servo. It's got its own little computer in there, its own little memory chip that you can write and rewrite by plugging it in and programming it to your transmitter. And I think we're actually going to show some of the operations of that.
I think we're going to attempt, for the first time ever,
try and do. It's more of a tutorial in the fact that we're learning as we go.
Yeah, we're pretty much learning. We heard about this feature and we're going to learn. So that's your Futaba 7PX. So that's how you turn it on. You got your power button, and there we go.
And we haven't had the joy of actually putting one of these in the car yet, in action.
Not yet, because they're just a couple of days ago.
But I can see it happening in the very near future.
100%. So this is your comms port, so-called, and once you open this one, just a little bit temperamental. So you hold the radio. Here we go. So you can see in here there is a little plug typical of a servo. So we're going to plug this in. This. Okay. So we are in. So servo's in. So at this point you go through menu. And
this is the complicated bit.
Let me see if I remember. System menu. That wasn't system menu. Linkage. No, I went through that before. Accessory menu. Sorry.
Accessory menu. Here we go.
All right. Easy. So start again. So from the main menu, we go menu, accessory menu, and that's S-Bus servo. So all these servos are S-Bus.
Yep.
Here we go. So what you do now, you select read. Okay.
So we're reading the information off of the servo.
Off the servo, so you select communication port. Okay, so now we are connected to the servo. And we can actually move it. We can actually control it from the radio. So
absolutely.
You can actually see the result of your changes pretty much straight away. And at this point you can adjust the deadband. You can put it up and down. You can change
damper settings,
and
you can also, and these are all instrumental to the way that the servo behaves in the car and the characteristics of the servo. But it's also, I think, got 3 pre-programmed like setups in there.
So
doesn't it?
there's some in here. So you can choose
you
first
go
of all
to
the SR mode, which is
super responsive.
super responsive. There's a couple of different types there, so you select that, and there's some other basic setting pre-prepared modes from Futaba.
But it really is getting the most out of your top end radio and your top end servos in the fact that you can marry them together like this and program it in such a way, before you put it into your car.
Absolutely. So this gives you full tunability, so you can tune the servo and the radio separately. Yeah. And so at this point, the process is this: you read the servo, adjust it, and when you're ready, you select write on top here.
Write it, yeah.
And say, are you sure you want to write? You press yes, and
effectively loads the program onto the servo. So
now,
I think in this way they can have the same sort of gearing and the same servo construction.
Correct.
But you can have the same model number doing 2 duties. So you can have it on steering, where you might want it to operate really fast and really accurately, and you might want it to work on the throttle or the brake servo, where you want it to operate maybe a little bit slower, but you might want it to effectively have more force and torque applied to it.
Definitely.
So,
and if you want to go back to factory setting, it's actually all saved in here. You click reset. Are you sure?
And put it back to default.
And it's brand new as it was in the box. So this system is really well designed to try things.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy with the result and you're unsure where you start, where you finish, you just reset it. You're back to
factory
default, which is great.
That said, these these servos will also work with other radio gears and stuff, but you just won't have the tunabilities and the capabilities that you can have when you marry it to like a 7PXR.
That's it. So this is a Futaba range of servos, which is great if you're racing buggy or touring car. There's the option there. So we disconnect everything now, and so you can't go wrong with this. The technology is getting to the point where the connection between the driver and the car is getting closer and closer. So the feel is brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? And definitely. It really, you've really, as a driver or operator, you've really got nowhere to hide.
Absolutely.
You can't blame your gear or anything like that, because it pretty much tells you exactly what you've been doing or what's gone wrong. So
definitely.
I can also see that function with this servo. Potentially, if you have a problem, or you feel you might have a problem like on the track, where you can actually plug it into your transmitter and you could potentially eliminate it. Absolutely. Or isolate the problem.
Yeah, there'll be potentially firmware update and other things that could come through. So that's opening a completely different way of tuning your servos. So we start doing that with speed controllers.
That's right.
And now we move into servos and all that really. So.
And I think the pricing is quite competitive too.
Definitely.
To the MKS and the highest range, I really think that they're in there with a good shot.
Definitely. So these are $230 servos, which is within range to
and
MKS.
Futaba being a Japanese product, they really do make good stuff. Absolutely. And they have done so since, I think, the inception of radio controlled vehicles back in the 70s or 80s. I'm sure that Futaba was one of the first. And probably the biggest powerhouse in the transmitter or the electronics part of it even back then. So
definitely.
It's really good to see them still going strong and innovating new products and ways that we can use them.